Welcome to this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings. I'm your host, Abby Gingrich.
And I'm Darian Rivard. This month we look at COVID-friendly activities throughout the district, a new vaccine center, and some special celebrations.
All this and more on this episode of Hempfield Happenings. After over a year of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, several vaccines are now available. Lancaster County has taken an extra step for helping vaccinate its citizens.
COVID-19 has affected millions of people worldwide, but now with vaccines, things are looking much better. The old Bonton at Park City Mall in Lancaster, Pennsylvania has been converted into the mass vaccination center. 6,000 people a day will be able to get the vaccine at full capacity. The vaccination site director, Dr. Michael Rybczynski, goes into more detail about how the site operates and came to be.
Penn Medicine Lancaster General Health worked directly with Brookfield Properties and Lancaster County government to create proposals and agreements to make sure that we could not only pay for the site with Lancaster County funds from the Federal CARES Act, but also worked with Bonton, the Park City Center, as well as Brookfield Properties to make this all happen. The initial shot, they actually come in, they get greeted outside. They come through a registration process. During that process, they present an email with a QR code that they've been emailed as an invitation for their appointment. That gets them into our queue to what we call a pod. And so inside the pod where we're standing right now, they have a seat and they stay in that same seat for 15 minutes. They get their vaccine in about 4-minute period. They sit and complete their 15-minute waiting time, and then they exit the pod back out on the way out from the same entrance they came in. So one of the biggest things we are worried about is access, equal access, and equity to make sure that people can get the vaccine fairly. So we've actually set up a committee of 25 members from across the county to serve on our Access and Equity Committee, and that committee's job is to ensure fair access to the center. So we've engaged the Office of Aging from Lancaster County to help us ensure access so that our seniors can get to this center even if they have limited internet access or no internet access.
Okay, here we go. So ticket to freedom.
Local government officials like Ryan Ahmet have helped out a lot during these trying times.
That the vaccine rollout in Pennsylvania was not going well. Pennsylvania did not rank well. We were in the bottom 10% of states, ranked somewhere around 44 to 46, the CDC with our vaccine rollout. And this has become all consuming. So for the last 4 weeks, we've been focused on a number of priorities. One, to develop and implement a strategic plan. Two, to improve our communications to healthcare providers that are distributing vaccine, but also to the broader public, educators, so we can get students that haven't been in school back in school.
Sign up for your vaccine spot at www.vaccinatelancaster.com. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Maguire Eunice.
Centerville Elementary School's annual variety show has had to work through many obstacles this year, but it has continued to showcase its students' talents despite the pandemic.
Every year, Centerville Elementary School puts on a talent show, but this year it's looking a little different.
The talent show is for Centerville Elementary, It is second grade, fourth grade, and sixth grade. So any of the kids in those grades can showcase their talents.
Fourth grade student Quinn Schonauer was one of the participants in the talent show this year.
Always on a run from Captain Hook. My act was I sang Lost Boy by Ruth B. And I did it because I really liked singing, and I feel like it's one of the songs that I feel like really captures my voice. Lost boys like me are free.
There are other jobs that interest students that help make the show run smoothly.
Sixth graders get to host the show, and also when we are in person, they can be stagehands.
Sixth grade student Dean Schonauer hosted this year's talent show.
I had to announce each act, and I had to announce that there would be artwork during the intermission.
The students talk about how long and what they did to prepare in order to give the best performance possible.
I would say maybe 3 days. I drank a lot of water and I was just singing to the background a lot in my room.
We were sent a script for what I should say, so I just read through that.
But COVID-19 has brought about changes to the annual show, some of which are seen as positive.
Well, this year was definitely different than years past. I just basically asked for videos and I just put them in a longer movie. I wanted to kind of keep it a little bit similar to what we did in the past when we were there.
You can keep doing it until you think that it's good, but when you're actually on stage, you only really have one chance.
Well, it was a little odd not seeing anyone there. I think it was great to have retakes and to be able to see what I was saying.
The Centerville Elementary School Talent Show is popular among the elementary school students.
Well, the first year I did it, I had about 30 kids performing. And then this year I had 19 performances, and then plus Dean, so it would be 20 kids this year.
The staff at Centerville Elementary School and other adults have also shown to enjoy the talent show.
The last 3 times that I've done the show, I've always had people come up to me or email me or call me on the phone and say, thank you for doing the show. I have even some teachers that play the show in class, during school, just so all the kids can see it together.
The talent show's purpose is showing to be even more important and valued this year.
Just, I think, a wonderful way for kids to perform. They have music class, they have art class, but we really don't have any kind of theater. I mean, I'm always impressed, super impressed every year by, these kids who get up on stage and or get, in front of a video camera and just be so brave to, perform and do their acts. And they're all so talented and wonderful.
This year has brought about challenges, but that didn't stop Centerville Elementary School from having their annual talent show. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Morgan Wilfong.
Thanks for watching, and stick around for next year's show.
March is Women's History Month, which is dedicated to reflecting on the often overlooked contributions of women in United States history.
Since 1987, the month of March has been recognized as Women's History Month, when we celebrate the women who have and continue to contribute to our past, present, and future. Recognizing the achievements of women in all facets of life has a huge impact on the development of self-respect and new opportunities for girls and young women.
There have been underrepresented groups of people whose voices were not heard through a lot of those stories and a lot of that teaching. And I think it's important to make sure that we are recognizing the accomplishments of all of people instead of just one group.
Mrs. Hoover is one of the few women who is a part of the administration here at Hempfield.
They didn't always have the right to certain jobs. They didn't always have a right to the educational systems that men did.
While women are moving into the workforce, they're still taking on traditionally female positions like teaching, nursing, and social services, which employ nearly 1/3 of all female workers.
There's been a drive in terms of women being part of education. I think a lot of women are natural teachers, mothers. I think, it boils down to that nurturing aspect of kids that has always drawn women to this job.
As a woman, I feel like women sometimes are a little bit more emotionally connected to things, as caregivers and people who want to look after others and take care of others. So I think the education field is a great way to show those skills.
Dr. Becker is the only female principal here at Hempfield High School.
I never really thought about a specific month for women. It's nice as a female to be celebrated. I work in a predominantly male field as an administrator, so I work with men all of the time.
In 1970, women made up 8% of STEM workers. By 2019, the STEM proportions had increased to 27%.
I think a lot of it does come back to very early on in childhood, that for one reason or another, girls develop the thought that math and science are for boys. I know that in my own experience, I was the only girl in my high school physics class.
Dr. Williams is a biomedical engineer at Robson Forensics.
Women's History Month gives us an opportunity to demonstrate that women have been making contributions to society and culture for not just years, not just decades, not just centuries, but throughout the course of human history.
As women now make up over 45% of the U.S. labor force, there is still much more ground to cover. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Elizabeth Williams.
Kindness is an important value taught by many schools. In early March, LPC and LMS held a random acts of kindness day together.
To the dinosaur labs, every bone, tooth, and bit.
There are many ways to teach kids moral values like honesty, sincereness, and kindness. Random Acts of Kindness Day is one way Landisville Primary Center and Landisville Middle School teach kids these traits.
Random Acts of Kindness Day is for students and staff to spread kindness in both school and community. It was started by a former Landisville Middle School teacher, Mr. Scott Pfeiffer, over 25 years ago.
But the purpose of this day is to create a mindset where you think about others first, and it's just not to stop on this one day.
Today it looks a little different because of COVID.
So in years past, we used to do what was called first grade friends, and we would actually go down to LPC and we would buddy up with maybe 2 or 3 students. This year, we were able to actually read to every single classroom at LPC.
Even though it is a little different this year, many kids still enjoyed it.
You know, these kids are anywhere from 5 to 8 years old, and when they look up at these 12 and 13, 14-year-old kids, they kind of look at them as like heroes. Like, I'm going to be there eventually. I can't wait to go to the big school up at Landisville Middle School. And the kids are there, you could tell in years past, they always had a smile on their face. This year, I think they're still going to have a smile, but I think it's just going to be behind a mask.
My boys and girls really enjoyed the stories. But then what they loved most was asking the middle schoolers what school they went to and just things that they were up to.
So they got to participate in a way where they could raise their hand if they read that book or they know the author, and it was fun kind of get to know the class a bit.
It's mystery and adventure.
To define kindness can be a difficult task, which everyone has different answers to.
Kindness is when you are putting other people first.
Being loving to each other.
Going the extra step to make someone's day better.
I guess it's more like a gift you could give to others and show to improve.
Doing something nice for someone when you're not thinking of yourself.
Kindness is taught as being an important value in life, but why is it so important?
The most important thing about kindness is bringing the connection from one person to another person. That connection of the appreciation that someone sees when someone does something, to me, I think that just means the world.
No matter how small it is, it really can improve somebody's day and show happiness.
Kindness is a way of friendship. When people do kind things to other people, and it makes me warm inside.
Living in a world where kindness is key definitely impacts people in such strong ways, and it can turn someone's life around.
It just makes the world a whole lot better.
Landisville Primary Center and Landisville Middle School hope that after Random Acts of Kindness Day, their students continue to spread kindness in both their school and community. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Kirsta Gilland.
Thank you guys so much for allowing us to read to you.
Most schools often raise money so their students can do fun activities, but this can be especially tricky during a pandemic. I went to CES to get more intel on their annual Race for Education.
Fundraising is an important part of any school.
And during these uncertain times, it can be very difficult for schools like Centerville Elementary School to raise money for their students. Race for Education is an annual fundraiser done at Centerville Elementary.
It's definitely different this year with the pandemic because there's a lot of things that we are not able to do. Like we weren't able to do the ice cream social for the kids. We weren't able to obviously have spectators here at the fun run. So basically we're trying to keep it as normal as possible with the guidelines that are in place.
A sticker down for like your lap counting goals, and that's what we did.
But usually you get like a hole punch from people, like a bunch of people just standing there with hole punchers, and you have like a card around your wrist.
Yeah, that's what we normally would do.
Receiving the donations was a change from previous years.
Okay, this year is different. We weren't able to send out all the mailings like we have in the past because of trying to keep things no touching. So we did do an online donation page this year, which is the first that we've done that. So most people can donate online now as opposed to coming into the school, dropping money off, or mailing things in where there's more touch contact.
Even though we are in unpredictable times, fundraising is still very important, and without it, many activities wouldn't be able to happen.
We fundraise here at Centerville Elementary because we get to do different events for the kids. We do the field trips that we sponsor. We sponsor staff luncheons, staff breakfasts right now. We do family fun night, ice cream social.
Race for Education was different this year, but the kids had fun and stayed positive.
I like doing the stickers because normally we have the hole punches.
The point of fundraising is to raise money, but especially during these uncertain times, it's just as important that the kids are having fun. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Abby Gingrich.
The success of the marching band at Hempfield is no secret, but it takes a village and a good amount of monetary support to make this happen, and sometimes that requires getting a little creative with fundraising.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Music groups are used to being creative, so it was no surprise that the Hempfield Marching Knights found a way to fundraise even during a pandemic.
For challenges like this, the band looks to the Booster Club, which is made up of all the band parents and led by President Wendy Herr.
Our goal basically every year is to provide volunteer support and also to raise money to assist the band in whatever they may need to spend that money on.
But it's about more than this for Mrs. Herr.
I love working with these kids, so it is a pleasure to support them in any way I can.
A majority of this support typically comes from the opening night band festival, bringing in up to 20 bands and nearly $30,000. But 2020 is different.
We did not hold our band festival this year, which really left us in a position where we had to find alternatives to raise money.
They came up with an idea after seeing other organizations using food trucks as a socially distant fundraising technique, and local businesses stepped up to help out.
We got a great response from the community. Like Ivy Creek Cabinetry was very generous and gave us this property to use. The food trucks were very responsive. We got this nice lot for the kids to stand in from R.H. Cooper, so they really, this whole community has been very supportive to the Hempfield School District.
So how does it work? Despite what she says,
I just work here, let's be honest.
Band president and tuba player Marissa Good is in the know.
We reached out to a bunch of food trucks, and the ones that said yes to doing this are donating a percentage of their sales today to the Hempfield Band Booster Club.
The 6 food trucks that participated are Scoops, Blazing Swine Barbecue, Papa Snow, Bricker's French Fries, Folt's Pretzels, and Scoopido. But this event is more than just food.
Some of the students decided to sign up and do a pep band today, so in a little bit we're going to play some stand tunes, things that we usually play at football games, and just serenade everyone with our beautiful music.
Marissa's optimistic about this new event despite the uncertainty.
This one is super important to us because it'll be a good way for us to bring in a lot of money, hopefully.
As to the success of the fundraiser, the Booster Club received over $500 in donations, and they expect to receive $500 more from the food truck sales, which is, in Mrs. Herr's opinion, a great fundraiser under COVID conditions. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Laura Claire.
Good run, guys! Woo! The teachers at Centerville Middle School have created a competition for students while teaching a valuable lesson outside the classroom.
Now, it's time to announce the chalk champions.
Judges, have you made your decisions?
We have.
Centerville Middle School is hosting a competition based on the TV show Chopped, a series in which contestants make a meal using certain ingredients. The competition was created because of One School, One Book, a movement designed to encourage students to read.
So LMS and CMS, we're both doing One School, One Book, which means that every student in this school has a copy of a book that we chose, which is Free Lunch by Rex Ogle. And Rex, it's a memoir of his true experience growing up. So Rex Ogle grew up very poor and his family struggled with food insecurity. So as we were planning our initiative, we wanted to come up with school-wide activities, and the first thing we thought of course, was a food drive for our community, to help our community. So we did that, but we also wanted to incorporate something creative that would bring us together in a more fun way, and that's where we came up with this idea of connecting the CHOP challenge to it.
The students could enter as an individual or create a team with up to 4 people.
So what we did is we wanted to go with like pantry staples, things that were non-perishable. We wanted to have a selection of those in a box or basket. And so the pantry staples were, I'll try to remember, pretzels, oatmeal, cereal, chocolate, marshmallows, and sprinkles. They had to use at least 3 of those in creating a dessert, and then they could only bring in 4 additional ingredients. So we had just these different rules, and then they had to submit a recipe based on that.
Over 30 entries were submitted, and the school voted for their favorite recipes. 8 finalists created their desserts and brought them into the judges.
We made an ultimate skillet like chocolate chip cookie. We had it at home. We did it 2 different times. So the first time was just like a practice, and the second time we did it for here, and we did it 2 nights ago because like we were busy yesterday. So we went to one of the people's houses and we cooked it or baked it, and then we brought it in.
The students' food is rated on taste, presentation, and how well they incorporated their ingredients.
Honestly, it's all for fun, so it's like not a big deal if we lose or anything.
The Chopped competition helped bring students together and created sweet desserts.
And in first place, winner of the whole shebang goes to Lydia Herr with her chocolate chip oatmeal pretzel cookie sandwiches.
From WHHS, I'm Morgan Minnick.
I just thought of doing like little tiny ones around it because I feel like...
Spring sports are in full bloom. Many student athletes are excited for the season to start up after missing theirs back in 2020.
Last year, students lost spring sports to COVID. This year, they are hoping to go the distance.
The girls lacrosse team begins their season playing Central York. Back in 2019, they went 8-1, losing their 1 game to Exeter Township. They won all their in-league games, going 4-0. They hope to have another season just as good as that one. The baseball team kicks off their 2021 season against Lower Dauphin. The boys lost their 2020 season, but hope to have another record like they did in the 2019 season when they went 20-5.
I'm really excited to get to play since I missed my last season from my freshman year. I'm excited to get back out on the field. It's kind of a pain having to wear masks all the time, but other than that, super pumped.
The softball team starts their season at Exeter. The girls played their 2019 season going 13-8. They hope to beat the 13-8 record in their 2021 season. Boys volleyball starts off their season against Mannheim Central. They had a great 2019 season, winning the 2019 Lancaster-Lebanon League Championship. Boys lacrosse player Tristan Niederer talks about how they kicked off their preseason.
All practices have gone well. We had 1 scrimmage against Central York, which went well for us.
Boys lacrosse starts their season against Central York this year. They haven't played a game since 2019, but hope to have another season like that, going 18-5.
I think the boys were excited for an upcoming season. We're excited to get back at it.
Good luck to all these teams in their 2021 season. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Jake Seasock.
Free lunch was implemented here at Hempfield last spring and has continued through this year. This program has many different facets and benefits a wide variety of students.
Due to the financial strain caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, Hempfield School District implemented a new free lunch policy that applies to all students, whether they're in person or virtual.
So the SSO program is Seamless Summer Offering, or SSO, and it's a program through the Department of Agriculture that allows us to provide both free breakfast and lunch for all the students at Hempfield. And it was a program we actually started back in the spring during the pandemic when we closed down in March, and that's how we're providing free meals for both students in elementary, middle school, high school, and even those that are not in school right now that are on virtual or Haven, they're also welcome to participate through our curbside meal service.
Since this is a new program at the schools, many students have their own opinion about it.
It's definitely helping a lot of people save money, especially because personally it's helping my family, seeing as I sometimes don't have time to pack myself lunch, or my family doesn't always have the chance to go grocery shopping for extra things to have lunch, so it's really nice.
I think it's very helpful for people that obviously need it. I mean, I know it's been a lot easier for me now that I don't really have to pack lunch as much anymore.
I think it's a really great opportunity for students who come from families that aren't very fortunate and just don't have a lot of money. I think it's a really good thing for them so that they can just be able to get what they deserve, which is food.
Milton Hershey School is a private education system that was founded by Milton Hershey in 1909. The Milton Hershey School is completely free for all the students to make sure they get a warm bed and healthy food to eat.
I help out in food management at the school, so I get to see a lot of the behind the scenes work, and they work really hard with meal planning and everything to make sure we have the diets that we need every day. They give us 3 well-balanced meals plus healthy snacks and different options. If we don't like one thing, normally there's an option for other things that are still also healthy and give us a well-balanced diet.
While the meals at Milton Hershey are funded by other places nearby, like Hershey Park and the resort, Hempfield is utilizing a program by the U.S. Department of Agriculture that is funded by federal grants. But whether or not this program will be implemented in future years has not been determined.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I can't speak for the school of whether that's cost effective, but I definitely think that it's really beneficial to a lot of students.
There's a lot of parents, I'm guessing, who unfortunately have been laid off or are unable to work, so I think it would be very beneficial for the free lunches to happen so that students are able to get lunches every day and not have to worry about any financial struggles.
Yet the answer to this question may be coming soon.
And we just received an email on the 9th of March saying that USDA is extending this program all through the summer, and I believe the cutoff date is September 30th. So will that continue even further on into next school year? We don't know, but we do know it's going to continue on for the rest of the summer.
This program has made quite an impact on some students in Hempfield.
I mean, I've probably tried more forms of chicken than I knew existed, but other than that, that's all I have.
And all various forms of chicken should still be free for every student in Hempfield for a few months longer. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Paige Harrington.
Thank you. Well, that's all we have for this month. Make sure to tune in to May's edition of Hempfield Happenings.
Thanks for watching. Check out these stories and more on our YouTube channel at Hempfield Happenings.